Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal Champions League draw. It's almost finally time, and before obviously they have to to do all the procedures and everything. So before that, I want to ask you guys who are watching, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not, which team which fixture would you like to see if you're a neutral, and as an Arsenal fan, which team would you like to get and which team would you like to avoid? Now I'll be going through all the teams and tell you guys which team I'd want and which team I'd like to avoid for different reasons. So as you can see, all 8 teams are on screen. So we will start with the first one, which is Barcelona. But before that, let me know how you're feeling. This is literally the first time any Arsenal fan basically, because by then, like, there was no one who was doing content creation in 2010 and all that on YouTube. This is the first time every Arsenal fan is experiencing a Champions League draw live on YouTube. Like, it's crazy. We've never really experienced this. It's been long, 14 years. So we're finally going to know which team we are going to face. Is it going to be Barcelona? Is it going to be Dortmund, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Bayern, Man City, Real Madrid? We are going to find out our fate today. And on top of that, we are also going to find out which team we are going to face in the semi-final if we get through the quarterfinals. So basically, you get to know which path you're going to take if you're going to go all the way to the final. So it's not going to be easy, but I'm really, first of all, I'm really happy to be here. In the quarterfinals, it would have been a disaster if you went out in the round of 16. So the draw is still around 15 minutes away or something. So let's use this time to talk about all the teams. So let's start with Atletico Madrid. Now Atletico Madrid is a very listen. Their players have changed from 10 years ago. You know, when they had the likes of Godin and all those guys, it's changed. But the coach is still there, and the style of play is still there. The feistiness, the dirtiness is still there. So Atletico Madrid would be a team that I'd definitely like to avoid. I'd not like to go to their place. It's very, very tough. Compared to Barcelona and also to Bayern Munich, those teams that we have something to settle with, those teams that used to trash us in the Champions League, Bayern. Atletico Madrid also did something to us a couple of years ago in the Europa League. If we had beaten them, we'd have reached the 2018 Europa League final against Marseille that year. But Atletico Madrid is the first team I definitely like to avoid because it's tough in terms of parking the bus and playing dirty sometimes, sometimes time wasting, sometimes going down too easily, sometimes, fighting with our players. Atletico Madrid would be like 10 times that. They're not going to be an easy team, and they definitely have way more experience than us in competition, especially for players like and Saul and all those guys. They have more experience. So if you're to ask me which team I'd definitely like to avoid, I'd say Atletico Madrid would be there as number one. At home, I would fancy us, but going to their place, it would be tough. And they have those quality players like Griezmann who can just turn it on anytime. So for me, Atletico Madrid is a team I definitely like to avoid. The second one is the second team on the list is Barcelona, not for teams to avoid. Just going alphabetical order. So for Barcelona, I wouldn't mind getting them. Barcelona would probably be in the top 3 teams that I'd want to face. They're not going to come and pack the bus, and they're going to try and attack us, and you're going to try and attack them, and it's an open game. Listen, they have quality players like Lewandowski, Cancelo, Gundogan, all those guys, Yamal. But I would fancy us in a game like that. Maybe draw, lose at their place, beat them at our place, but go through it on aggregate. If that is a team I definitely want to face, if I was to choose between all those tough teams, I'd go with Barcelona as a team I'd want to face. And I think fans from Real Madrid and Man City, the ones I've watched, have the same opinion in terms of facing Barcelona, and I do share that opinion as well. Of course, we also played Barcelona in preseason and 5 goals past. That was preseason, but at least we've faced them recently, and we've played against those players recently. So that is something. But their players as well have Champions League experience. Gundogan just won it last season. The likes of Lewandowski have won it. We don't really have a lot of players who won it apart from 2. So Barcelona, for me, though, they would be in the top 3 teams that I'd like to face if I had to choose one. So Barcelona, I don't mind facing them. Atletico Madrid, I'd like to avoid. Next team on the list is Bayern Munich. Now, Bayern Munich have not been on the greatest of form this season, but for me, how I look at it is Bayern Munich is still Bayern Munich. Like, if they want to be Bayern Munich in April and May, Leverkusen very well last night as well. Just don't look like they're going to lose a game. If Leverkusen ended up losing like 2 or 3 games right now, I'd not be surprised if Bayern Munich went on like a 7-8 game winning streak and ended up finally like somehow winning the title even this season. Like Bayern Munich is still Bayern Munich. They still have Sane, they still have Muller, a player that haunted us for many years. They still have players like Harry Kane, who definitely love to put one or two or three past Arsenal in the game. So Bayern Munich are still Bayern Munich. They wouldn't be in the top three teams that like to face. Of course, they're not really coming to park the bus. They would like to attack us, and sometimes they have defenders who would make a mistake or two, like Upamecano, so you would get chances. But they are still Bayern Munich. Even though I watched them the whole group stage when they are conceding 3 goals to Man United and drawing with Copenhagen, and Tuchel is going to leave at the end of the season, they are still Bayern Munich. So I still respect them. And the last time we played in the Champions League, Bayern Munich did something very bad to us, man. They scored 10 goals past us. I went to rewatch that game the other day, and it was painful. Not the whole game. I couldn't rewatch the whole game, just the highlights. It was very, very painful the way they were getting through us. So people will say Bayern Munich in terms of getting revenge, but they would not be in the top 3 teams I'd like to face. So far, I have Barcelona only in the top 3 teams I'd like to face. Next up, Dortmund. Now, Dortmund, they're not in the top 2 or anything this season in the Bundesliga, though for them to get to this stage of the Champions League, they've done really well because they were in the group of death with PSG, with Newcastle, and also AC Milan, and they finished top of that group. So well done to them. They also played PSV in the round of 16, a PSV team that has not lost in the league this season. We also played PSV this season as well. So you have to respect Dortmund, and I still do think they have quality players. Players like Sancho coming on loan, he has something to prove, and players like Royce and Brandt and all those guys, very but to be honest, I'm sure if you had to ask everyone else on that list which team they'd like to face, probably Dortmund would be in their top 2. And so are they in my top 2 as well. Yes, they are. So Dortmund and Barcelona, if I was to choose 3 teams to face, Barcelona and Dortmund would be in that top 3 list. I would fancy us against Dortmund. And listen, I know people would say if we got Dortmund, people would be like, yeah, they're getting an easy run to the final, FC Porto and then Dortmund. But hey, Dortmund were in the Champions League group of death, and it would be great to face up against a team that we haven't played for a long time, maybe 8 years or something, 9 years. So that would be great. So Dortmund is the next team that I'd like to face. Next up, Manchester City. If you get drawn against Manchester City, that means you're going to play them like 3 times in like 2 weeks or something. Listen, this is not 3 years ago. I'm not being disrespectful or anything. Man City is still the best team in the world, but I mean in terms of being scared. Like if you had to ask me 3 years ago from that list, I would be scared and dreading facing Man City and Real Madrid. I'd be, basically crapping myself in terms of facing those teams. I'd be very, very scared. Right now, I am not scared of Man City or Real Madrid. Like I know they're not going to beat us 6-0 or anything like that, like what it would have been 5 years ago. I know if we face Real Madrid today and we can play toe-to-toe, and if they beat us 3-2 or something, 4-2 on aggregate, that is fine. Now, I don't think they're going to smash us by 7 or 8 goals like they would have 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm not scared of any of those teams. And even Man City, I would fancy us to win one of those games. The other game, I don't know. But for Man City, I definitely like to avoid them. I feel like facing an English team, I think we know too much about each other. They know too much about us, and that intensity for 3 games in a row against them in the Premier League and also 2 in the Champions League, I would like to avoid that right now. But there's a chance we could end up facing Man City, and Man City could end up facing Liverpool in the FA Cup as well, and it's going to be a crazy 2 months. But Man City would definitely be a team I'd like to avoid. Obviously, they're champions from last season as well, and 2 years ago as well, they reached the final as well. Was it 2 years? 3 years ago in 2021, they were in the final. So over the last 3 seasons, Man City have reached the final twice and the semi-final once. The semi-final that they lost 2 years ago, they were so close to beating Real Madrid, and then Benzema turned everything around in the last minute. So they could have been in 3 Champions League finals in a row. So they're definitely not a joke. And they won one of those, and in the other final, they lost 1-0. So Man City is a team that I definitely like to avoid. Let's compete with them in the Premier League. Champions League, let's face a different team. Next up, PSG. That would be the 3rd team that I wouldn't mind facing. Now, they have very quick players like Mbappe and Dembele and all those guys, but defensively, I'd fancy us to score against them a couple of goals. I've watched them playing a few times this season recently, I think against Nice, and I think they drew. So they are dropping points here and there. We saw them losing to Newcastle heavily earlier this season 4-0 or 5-0 something at St. James's Park. They almost drew with Newcastle at their place in France as well. And they had to qualify on the final day of the group. So there's that. And if you face them, if you find a way to mark out Mbappe, which is very, very hard, I would fancy us. Like midfield-wise, they have young players like Emery. I'd fancy Declan Rice to, dominate that midfield and stuff. But they still have experience, better experience than us, players like McKinney and all that. But that is a team that will not really come to park the bus against us. And if you're going toe-to-toe, I'd fancy us to get a couple of goals past them. With that said, though, they had a very good result against Real Sociedad. They scored 4 goals in the 2 legs, so that was a very good result for them. But if you're to ask me top 3 teams I wouldn't mind facing: Barcelona, PSG, Dortmund. In what order? Obviously, I'd say Dortmund 1, then probably PSG 2, and then Barcelona 3. In terms of 3 teams I definitely like to avoid, Atletico Madrid. Man City would be first, Atletico Madrid second, and then the one I've not talked about is Real Madrid, which is third on that list. So Real Madrid, everyone would like to not face Real Madrid. Like, even if Real Madrid changed their whole team again today and everyone else was sold and they brought a new team today, you still wouldn't want to face Real Madrid because, they do have that Champions League heritage they usually tell us we don't have. They have a lot of that. They have won a lot of Champions League titles over the years, and they have a coach who's won a lot of Champions League titles at different teams. They have a very experienced coach. They have players like Modric and Kroos who are used to this. I think Kroos won the Champions League at was it there at Bayern when they were winning it in 2013? I think, but for sure he's won a lot of Champions League titles. Modric has been in World Cup finals and Ballon d'Or winners and all that. That is a very experienced team, and by the time you're coming to Madrid in 3 weeks, Courtois could be back, Militao could be back, so they're going to have basically almost their full team there with Rudiger and all those guys. I think Alaba would be the only one out, so Real Madrid would be a team that I like to avoid. Yes, in terms of their forward players, I look at their forward players like, almost the same age as ours, like Saka, Martinelli, Bellingham, Vinicius, all of them like future stars and all that. But in terms of their midfield and their defense, they definitely have way more experience than us. And even the young players like Vinicius, they've won the Champions League. They've scored in finals before. So that is a team that I definitely like to avoid. Though, whichever team we face today, I'm not going to be scared. I'm not scared like I would have been 4 years ago. If you're to tell me 4 years ago Arsenal play Real Madrid, or 5 years ago, I'd be sick. If you're to tell me you're going to play against Bale and Ronaldo and Benzema, there's no chance we'd have beaten that team with the team that we had. But right now, I'd fancy us. Let's go. If we had a game today and Real Madrid beat us, I think it's going to be something like 3-2. It's not going to be like 5-0 or anything like that. So let's go, man. Let's go. A lot of Arsenal fans have been saying we want Madrid over the last 2 years, and putting only one Real Madrid playing combined 11. So I've seen Real Madrid fans who want to play Arsenal. I've also seen a lot of Atletico Madrid, not Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich fans wanting to play Arsenal. I've had a lot of Man City fans saying they don't want to play Arsenal because we know them too well. I've had Man City fans saying that. But we have to prove ourselves. Listen, obviously we are being disrespected because we've never really been here too many times. So I guess we just need to prove ourselves. The teams that are saying they want to face us, let's face them and beat them. And then next one, they won't say they want face us again. So that's how it needs to be. And let me take a few of your comments as they consider the draw procedure, which is going to start in the next 5 minutes. Musa says, Glenn, please can you check the various teams in the quarterfinal accumulation in their respective league? For Arsenal, I know we have 60 points with almost 40 plus goals. Can you check okay, their points accumulation? It would take a lot of time to check the points accumulation, but I do know that Real Madrid at top of their table and looks like they're definitely going to win the title. So again, by that time, they could even be able to rest players. That's another thing I wouldn't like to face them. We know Man City are third in the Premier League table. We also know Bayern Munich are chasing Leverkusen. They're 10 points behind or something. PSG at top of their table as always. Dortmund are not doing really well this season. There are a couple of teams ahead of them. But I did look at the defensive record, though. 3 days ago, I did look at the defensive record, Musa. If you have time, I'm going to check the points accumulation. I did look at the goal difference and the goals conceded. I thought we had the best defensive record, but Real Madrid do. They've conceded only 18 goals this season. So That's one reason why I'm not that scared again this season. Defensive record. We have the best defensive record in the league, and in the Champions League, we've not considered a goal at home and all that. So I'd fancy us. Yes, going to Bernabeu or Metropol. I always have a hard time saying Atletico Madrid's stadium name. Metropolitano. That's how to say it, right? That's how to say it. Yeah. There as well. I wouldn't like to go there, and also Etihad and all that. But for them coming to our place, I'd fancy us because we have a very good defensive record at home, and we win most of our games at home. We've beaten Liverpool, Man City, and listen, if you can compete with Man City and Liverpool, you can compete with Barcelona and PSG and those guys as well. Surely you can. Let me first put that in red as well so that you guys can see the comments. Let me see which teams you guys want to face. So if you're a neutral, let me know what your dream fixture is. If you're an Arsenal fan, let me know which team you'd like to get and which team you'd like to avoid. Kimmich says Bayern versus Real Madrid. That would be a good one. Ahmed says Real Madrid Bayern as well. And guess who's doing the draw? John Obi Mikel, a Chelsea fan. He's going to give us Real Madrid, isn't he? Arsenal versus Man City. Says Marcin, bring on any team. You're not scared of any team. Says Bernard. Let's go, says AJ. We want Barcelona or Dortmund, says Alicia. I am doing good. Okay. See, I want Manchester City versus Atletico. By the way, that's another thing. We could get a lot of fixtures. So the draw is about to start. This is going to be interesting, man. Let's see. This is going to be very interesting. The first ball out, the draw is already starting, man. I don't think I was even ready. Let's see. Arsenal is the first team out. Bloody hell, we are the first team out. So that means you're going to be home for the first game. Arsenal is the first team out. Which team are we going to face? It's going to be Real Madrid, isn't it? It's going to be Real Madrid. I was not ready for Arsenal to come out that early. Come on, man. We are the first team out. Which team are we going to face? It's going to be something stupid like Real Madrid or Man City, isn't it? Not those two. Any other team, not Real Madrid or Man City, just any other team. Bayern Munich. Wow, we are going to play Bayern Munich. Arsenal against Bayern Munich. How do you guys feel about that one? Wow, that's not the easiest tie. That would have been. I didn't include them in the top 3 teams I'd like to avoid, and I didn't include them in the top 3 teams I'd like to face. So they are in the middle. Bayern Munich. We do it again. With Bayern Munich. We always face Bayern Munich. Even if we take a 7-year break, we'll always face Bayern Munich, right? Arsenal, Bayern Munich. How do you guys feel about that one? Interesting. Next team to be drawn. We are going to play the first team game at home. Atletico Madrid is the next team out. Atletico Madrid is the next team out. So we are going to play against Harry Kane. Atletico Madrid will be playing against. David says so tough. Yeah. We need to have a chance to revenge, says Jude. Atletico Madrid, Dortmund. Oh, we can still get Real Madrid, Man City. No, we can still get El Clasico as well. We can still get Real Madrid, Barcelona as well. Atletico Madrid, Dortmund. Oof. I'd fancy Atletico Madrid to win that one. Next team. Real Madrid is next. I want them to get Man City, if we beat Bayern Munich, I don't want us to be facing Man City in the next round and then Real Madrid in the following round. I want one of them to be out. Real Madrid, versus which team will Real Madrid face? Give them Man City, please. Give them Man City. Give them Man City. Yes, Musa, we are facing Bayern Munich. Ooh, Man City versus Real Madrid. Oh, I know these are the games people wanted to see. For us, I wanted to see Arsenal Dortmund, but a lot of people wanted to see Arsenal Bayern, Arsenal Madrid, Real Madrid, Man City, Real Madrid, Man City, Arsenal Bayern. Now that's good. In case we beat Bayern Munich, at least I know Real Madrid or Man City, one of them is out. But I don't want us to go into that path of Real Madrid and Man City. They're also going to do the semi-final draw. I don't want us to end up facing one of them in the semi-final as well. It's going to be tough. But hey, you need to survive. You need to survive. Champions League, if you're going to win, you're going to survive. PSG is next up. Wow. These are some big games, you know. These are some big games. Musa says yes, Bayern Munich. Steven says we are ready. I'm not nervous, says Musa. Really a good one for the Ghana, says Bright. I wouldn't like to face Man City, says Perez. Yep. Hopefully we don't even have to face them in the semi-final. They're also going to do the semi-final draw right now. We have PSG against Barcelona. So these are some really big games for different reasons. Arsenal Bayern, you know, the last time we were in the Champions League, you know what they did to us. Real Madrid, Man City, I think they faced off each other 2 seasons ago. Real Madrid beat Man City in the last minute, and that's a big game. PSG, Barcelona, I remember the big comeback from Barcelona years ago, and they had Messi and Neymar. Very big games, man. And obviously Atletico Madrid and Dortmund. So we are also going to go through the semi-final draw right now. So you need to know which path you're going to take. I'm hoping it's not Real Madrid and Man City if we beat Bayern. That one I'd definitely like to avoid because that would be hell. Bayern Munich 2 legs, Man City and Real Madrid 2 legs. That one I'd like to avoid. So they're going through the path right now. Semi-final draw. Semi-final draw. The first one out is quarterfinals 2. Yeah, I'd like that one, please. Atletico Madrid or Dortmund. If we beat Bayern, Atletico Madrid or Dortmund, that would be good, please. Or PSG and Barcelona, but just not Real Madrid and Man City, please, God, please. Not quarterfinal 1, please. Not quarterfinal 1, please. Yes, quarterfinal 1, please. If we beat Bayern Munich, we are going to face the winners of Man City or Real Madrid. Yeah, we are back in the big time, huh? We are going to have to beat Bayern Munich 2 legs and Real Madrid and Man City 2 legs. My goodness, it's not going to be easy. Yep, we know our path. We know our path to the final. Listen, if you beat Bayern Munich and you beat Real Madrid or Man City, you deserve to win the title. So if you want to win the Champions League, and to be honest, if you want to win the Champions League, you might have to go through Real Madrid and Man City. Let's be honest. I would have loved the PSG Barcelona one, Atletico one, maybe, but hey, that's tough. Yes, Abby, that's very tough. We can't take this Bayern Munich again, says Steven. We have been given Bayern Munich. How do you take this? I'll give you my reaction. That is a difficult path, guys. That is a very difficult path. So there we have it, guys. There we have it on screen. In the quarterfinal, we will have Arsenal against Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund, Real Madrid versus Man City, PSG versus Barcelona. If we beat Bayern Munich, we are going to face either Real Madrid or Man City in the semi-final. So 4 very tough games. If you get past Bayern Munich, you're going to have to go through the rest. So whoever wins, I guess many people are going to say whoever wins this Real Madrid Man City game will probably reach all the way to the final. They'll have to go through Arsenal or Bayern Munich. But the final will have either Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, PSG, or Barcelona. At least one of them will make it to the final. So that's one we know. And then from this left side, one of them is going to make it to the final. Not easy. Not easy. You know, another reason I didn't want to get Man City and Real Madrid like in the semi-final, because I'm imagining imagine if we beat Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal and then we beat Real Madrid in the semi-final, and then we go and lose the final to Dortmund or Atletico Madrid or something. That would be very painful, because if you beat Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, you have to win that trophy. Like, you have to. But we are looking too much into the future. Our first challenge is Bayern Munich. Not easy at all. That's not an easy game at all. Joshua says we need to be strong. Nevertheless, we have believe that nothing is big for us. And to be the champions, you have to win against the giants of Europe. Yep, to be the best, you have to beat the best. Being an Arsenal fan is the greatest thing. Has never happened to me, and I'm always has ever happened to you. Says Ifani. Hassan says hell. That is great. Our team is capable, says Melly. Let's see. A lot of people wanted Barcelona, Dortmund, PSG. We are not going to face any of those teams. The teams we are going to face are Bayern Munich and then Real Madrid or Man City. That's the toughest truth. That is definitely the toughest truth. Tactical says, are you kidding me? Nope, we are very serious. That is our path to the final. I swear, if Kane knocks us out, that dude, man, I thought we were done with him, and then we end up facing him the very next season. You know, he scored a bunch of goals against us. But let's see. Gideon says it's tough games, but you can still go on and grab the cup. The other thing we need to look at as well is the Premier League games around that. I think right before we play against Bayern Munich, we are going to play. We are playing against Man City and then Luton and then Brighton. So we are going to play against Brighton and then play against Bayern Munich at home. And then after that, we are going to play against, Aston Villa at home, and then play against Bayern Munich away. So that's not easy. That's not easy at all. I would have loved Dortmund. Bassa says tactical. I would have as well, but you're not going to face any of those teams. It's a must. We must knock them out, says Mashek. That would be big. Listen, a lot of people don't respect Arsenal at all in the Champions League, which is fair enough. We've never really won it. But if we beat Bayern Munich and you beat one of Real Madrid and Man City, then people will start respecting you. Arsenal will win the Champions League, says Kanko. Would have done something big to win the Champions League. We'll have to do something massive. You have to beat Bayern Munich over 2 legs and then beat Man City, Real Madrid over 2 legs. So it's not going to be easy at all. Charles says it's tough indeed, but it's time to prove ourselves that we are giants. Let's hope so, man. Let us hope so. But we find out which teams we are playing against. It is going to be Bayern Munich, Harry Kane and Son and Thomas Tuchel and Kimmich and all those guys. We are going to welcome them to the Emirates first, and then see how that game is going to go. But as I said in the last round, the way we played FC Porto away from home first, and then they came to our place, we needed a goal. I would have loved to see us like playing the first game at home, and that is what we've gotten now. So I think the approach will be different. We are going to have to try and beat Bayern Munich at our place, and I think that would suit us more because we have a better defense, and then go to their place and try to kill the game off. Maybe that would be better for us. Let's see how it happens. But what you don't want to happen is for them to come and beat you at your place or get a draw at your place. You have to try and win the home game. So let us see how it's going to go. Actually, it's good to have Bayern Munich and so-called giant to beat them to make a statement to other teams, says Mike. So some of you are confident, some of you are a bit worried. We can beat any team as long as our players are fit, says Ayo. I mean, you could be right. If you have Partey there, Rice there, you have Timber there, Tomiyasu there, Ben White, all those guys. Yeah. We are not afraid of Bayern Munich because this is when we are going to take our revenge, inshallah, says Musa. Hopefully. But yeah, guys, that is the Champions League draw. We'll react more to it in the next video. Tough one, but bring them on. We wanted to be back in the Champions League. We are back in the Champions League. People have said we faced easy teams, Lons and all those guys. It's not time for the tougher teams. If we beat these teams, no one is going to say Arsenal is a joke anymore. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.